Hey everyone, thank you so much for showing up to our Tuesday night team meeting. I have a special guest with us today, Cheryl Muller, and if you guys don't know her, she is our Emerald upline. So she is on our team and is a great person to talk to about the compensation plan because she is a CPA, a retired CPA, and she is just super knowledgeable about all the ins and outs and details of the compensation plan. So she very generously offered to walk us through our commission summary. So if you could pull up your latest month commission summary in your back office, it's going to be helpful because she's going to go through each detail of it, and then we'll have a little time for Q&A. So Cheryl, go ahead and take it away.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I am happy to be here, and of course, I love numbers, and that's right up my alley. And it's funny because because I'm a CPA, so just a funny story. So when I worked out in a public accounting firm, that was back when they handed you paper checks. Okay, so they would go around to all our different cubicles, and you would hear I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this, but of course, every CPA's desk has an adding machine. So the paychecks would come out, and immediately we'd be like, just checking, calculating to make sure they're right. So some things really never change. And so even when I was earning like $30, I was back there, checking it out, scoping it out, just making sure. And the good news is that there's never been an incorrect calculation on any of the summaries. So I get a little lax, like the bigger it gets, you get a little bit more lax because I tested it all the way up, and I still go through it. So it's just good to know how you're getting paid, and then how you can explain it to those when you add them onto your team when when they're starting to work the business, because let's face it, we need money to live, and money motivates. Okay, so hopefully you have your commission statement printed out. It should look something like this. It'll be a little Excel sheet, because I print that out every month. So I've given you instructions, and I am going to be honest with you. They kind of have weird names for what everything is. So I literally have to pull out the prior month's summary that I've written all over, and then go through each line item, writing what it is, because I think every month I'm going to remember what retail rewards commission is versus retail rewards override, and I never do. So I pull out that statement, and I don't know, I'm sure that was their original description, and I'm not sure where it comes from, but we just work with it. So okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I have someone let me use a back office sample, which is good because that helps. So let's see here. I'm going to share it. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I have got, I'm in the back office, I've got a dashboard up, and so the first thing that you need to know is what were your, so we're looking at November's commissions that are paid out December 15th, okay? So when you printed out your sheet, it said November commissions. But the thing that you need to know, well, what were my November points? And what was my November PV, if you kind of want to look and see where everything comes from and calculate anything out. So, so the first thing that you're going to do is go to your, go over here to My Business, and then Points and Rank Up. And then what you're going to find is, over in the right hand side, it's gonna have all of December stuff. You're gonna have December down here, you're gonna have December up here, but you want to look at November's. Now there's a couple things. I don't know if you know anything about these bars, but this has your total points. The lighter pink is your prior month's points. This is your current month's points. So I can literally look at this and say, okay, I've got 105 points, and I write that across the top of this sheet so I know how many points I'm working with, so I can do a calculation. the other, yeah, so I mean that's really all that you need to do. And then you know, these are just outside leg points, and then qualified ambassadors, because you need so many qualified ambassadors to rank up. So then the next thing is your PV. So what I do then is that you go back over here to PV under my business, and then you can look right. Okay, sorry, I just need to move this over. Same thing, you've got December right here. So what you need to do is pull that down for November, and then you'll see November's PV was 110. That's what this back office has, 110. So I write that down because I want to know that. So that's really, you just have to remember that you're working in the prior month's you know, back office more or less. So okay, so then from there, now as you look at the, I'm looking at the printout. So it's got some bonus pools at the top. Some people have fast start achievement bonuses. They come out in the monthly. And any of your one-time achievement bonuses for your ranking up to gold, ruby, senior ruby, etc. And silver. So they're all there. And then Plexus Lexus money, that's another line item. But then the next line item is your bonus pool. So right next to that, what I do is I write in parentheses, we kind of call that the profit sharing. What the company does is take half of the profits for that month, and then they share it with us as ambassadors. And this is the one where we talk a lot about, this is where our points matter, and then we come up with a pay point. And now it's kind of funny because you don't know what you kind of are backing into your pay point. And then at first I was like, well, how do I know that's right? That's what's on mine. Then I would ask someone else. I'm like, what did you calculate your pay point as? And so they would have the same number. I was like, okay, but what you have to do. So on my office back here, the bonus pool number is 324.8. So I take 324.8 or 80 cents, $324.80, and then I divide that by the number of points that I had for the month, which in this case were 105, I had said, and that tells me that the pay point this month was 309. It was really 309, 3333. So the pay point, they say the pay point will never go below 275. In my time with Plexus over the past 3.5 years, I've never seen it go below 3. So so that's excellent. So it usually is between 305 and 312. That's generally where it's at. So 309 seems reasonable. So based on the number of points that you have, that's where you're getting your profit sharing from. So does anyone have a question on that? Okay. All right, so then the next line item is the preferred customer bonus. So monthly what we get are bonuses based on the product that our preferred customers purchase. And I don't know if you have looked if you've ever gone to the back office and looked at, I'm just going to go over here. So if you go to training, resource library, it took me a while to get used to the way they have it set up, but if you scroll down to compensation tools and pull the little arrow down, they've got the compensation, the full plan, which is, I don't know, like 30 pages or so, and then they've got the compensation plan summary. Now the compensation plan summary is something that I have printed out, and I keep it in my little day timer that I have, because it really is a good thing to just always have as a reference. It's got a lot of good information. They updated the annual income for 2018, so that gives us those average what each rank makes, and that's really part of the summary. But it kind of looks like it's a compensation highlight like this, and it tells you really for each rank, what do you need, how many points, how many levels down you get paid, and what the bonuses are and all of that. And then it tells you a little bit more about the car program and trips, and now you can have lifestyle bonuses, just all that. It's just a good piece of paper to have, because I don't always remember, you know, someone will say, well, how many points? I mean, I'm pretty good at remembering, but it's like, how many points do I need for Senior Ruby? And so I just like to have that just to make sure, so I don't give anyone the wrong information. And plus, the other thing is, we're not going to get into it, but you need so many outside leg points in order to rank up. So that's the one I don't always have in my brain. So so that's, you know, just a nice reference. But in the full compensation plan, let's just see how many pages it's 16 pages. So that's not too bad. So on page, I'm not going to go into it, but on page 7 is the actual preferred customer bonuses. And I have to say, it's not updated with active or the collagen or all the, you really need to write them in, because I know we have that information somewhere. I've had people buy active, so I can look at that. I haven't had anyone just buy as a preferred customer, but it's just a little sheet, and I know you can't see, but it just lists all the products and the dollar amount. So if someone orders Accelerator, it's a $5 preferred customer bonus. If someone orders, you know, the Eats capsules, $5 is for a lot of them. But if someone orders the Slim XOS, it's $15. If someone orders the Slim Hunger Control, it's $11 preferred customer bonus. So there really are some nice bonuses. There's some benefits to having preferred customers and ambassadors. You need ambassadors to rank up, but the preferred customers, you get that bonus, and their PV adds to your PV. So you really always, your goal is always to at least have a 500 PV. I mean, obviously first the 100, but you know, to be qualified, but then you really want to always achieve 500, because at that point, instead of getting paid 15%. So when I calculated, so when we get to commissions, you're either going to get paid 15% or 25% if you're 500 or above. All right. So anyway, so on my particular, okay, I'm going to go. So what you need to do, if you want to look and say, if you have, you know, a few preferred customers, and you want to say, well, what, you know, if you just want to cross-reference them or see where they're coming from, then what you want to do is go to that PV again under business. And I actually have to go to September in this one. So I'm just going to go up. Sorry, I'll move that over. Okay, so instead of December, I'm going to go to September, because that's when there were that's when there were preferred customer bonuses. So you've got your own person, but then you've got all of your preferred customers listed here. So in this case, we've got one preferred customer that has PV. Okay, so I looked, it's the ProBio 5, so I would see $5 listed for a preferred customer. And I might say, okay, well, you know, you can go down each one and calculate what it is, just looking at, and that's how you can cross-reference it, and that's how you know where you get your preferred customer bonuses from. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions on that?
It all makes sense, Cheryl. I just want to catch up the few people who joined recently.
Okay.
That are looking through the commission summary in the back office. So if you have your computer or tablet or anything handy and you want to pull that up, Cheryl's walking us through each of the line items to kind of explain what each one is. So for those of you that just hopped on, I just wanted to clarify where we were.
Right, right. And we are recording it, so you can go back and look through it. And that's another thing that, you know, if you want to take your time next time when the commission summary comes out, or if you want to go over this month's or whatever, you can just listen to the Zoom and then look at your statement that you have and just kind of go through and pause it when you're trying to figure out calculations and everything. And then you'll get more used to it. So that's where the preferred customer bonuses come from. Well, then the next is what they call retail rewards commissions. And that is your 15 or 25% of your PV over 100, because we need that 100 to be commission qualified. So it's anything over that. So that's where I had said that you need to, you know, go back and figure out, you know, what that last month. I'll just repeat this again. So if, let me just go back, because sometimes it just, here in the PV, I went to, I'll just do it again. So I went to my business to PV, and it's automatically going to come up with December, but we're looking at November's commission. So if I just click on November, there we are. That's how I figure out what my PV is. So in this particular case, 100 PV is what is needed for being qualified. So in this case, it's only $10 times 15%. So my statement right here says $1.50. But of course, you know, again, that's another goal. So if you've got maybe $600 in PV, you've over your 100, then you've got 500 times 25% is what you're making on your PV. That's $125. So you can see the real benefit of just trying to, you know, make sure that your PV is at 500 or above, because it really does make a difference there. And you can see that, you know, a couple dollars versus maybe $125. So that's a real easy, you know, just calculation. Again, you've got to have the prior months. You've got to have November, in our case, PV. Any questions on that? That's pretty straightforward. So, okay, so then the next line item, and again, it'll list them individually, and it can get a little bit crazier as your team gets bigger. The next one is called Retail Rewards Override Commissions. And you're like, what? But what all that is, and I just, again, write it right next to it, you get commissions on your level 1's PV over 100. So it's just another layer of commissions that you can earn. And that rate is at 5%. No matter what, it's 5% of your personally recruited level 1's PV over 100. So if you want to kind of run through and you're like, okay, well, there's a lot of numbers here and I don't know who's who, and I just want to make sure it's right, then what you can, what you can do is go over, again, to points and rank up, okay? And then you want to scroll down, and again, the same thing is that this is showing December, so we want to change it to November's because that's what we're looking at. And then you just want to scroll down, okay? So now, I don't know if you know this about the back office, but you can click on any of these titles and it sorts it differently. So I want my level 1's because this doesn't do any good like this. So if I click on it, then it shows all my level 1's. If you click on it again, it starts from the bottom. So so that's just a really neat thing to have if you ever want to know, well, you know, who is my highest achieved rank. Click it once and it shows the ambassadors first. Click it twice and then it shows, so that way you know, okay, well, these people are silver and you know, their paid rank might be different. Hey, I want that person to rank up, re-rank or something with the re-rank bonuses. But there's just a lot of detail back here, just some little tricks. So I'm just going to go back to the paid, oh, sorry, not the paid level. Okay, so we're back here at level 1. So now, again, it's everyone over 100. So the first person on my list is 124 PV. So if I take 24 times 5%, that gives me 1.2 or $1.20. So I look down at my list and I say, oh, I see $1.20. I just do a little check. Okay, yep, that one calculates out. And then I go down to the next one. There's nothing for this one because they're under 100. Well, then the next one, $66 times 5% gives me $3.30. So I look on my retail rewards override and I'm like, check, I see $3.30. And if you want, sometimes I would put the person's name by it or whatever, but if I'm methodically going down here, you know, with the level ones, then you'll eventually get to all of them. And then you should have all of the retail reward overrides checked. And so then that's where that total comes from. Does anyone have any questions about that? No? Okay. All right. And then the only other thing on this is that for some reason the Sapphire Pool bonus is down below on this particular printout. So any of the other one-time bonuses, a lot of times that come out, especially for incentives, usually get paid in the weekly summaries. So so just to show you, I mean, I had noted that in the instructions for printing out your commission summary, but I'm just going to go over here. So if you go to your commission summary here, you're going to see that it automatically comes up with the monthly right there. But if you pull this down, that's where you can get to the weekly commission. So if you ever want to know, so you click on that, and then it gives you the week that they're paying you. So like for 12/1 to 12/7 is, let me just look at a calendar a second, will be paid out. So the commission period for weeks runs Sunday to Saturday. So if you had any new ambassadors from December 1st to the 7th, then that gets paid out the 12th, the following Thursday. Technically, it's so funny. We're supposed to get paid on Fridays, but they always pay us on Thursdays. So I love that our company pays us early. So so again, if you just click on this little plus, it's going to tell you right there, that's your business building bonus. But there's some other items that they pay you out through here, especially if there's some sort of manual adjustment that they're adjusting for. You can see that in here. And sometimes I thought that there was an other. No, mostly it's manual adjustments. But like if it's an incentive, and someone re-ranked gold with the re-rank bonus, it would be listed here. It would be like a manual one-time gold achievement because that wasn't their original, it's just a re-rank. So it's going to show up in the weekly. They tell you in all the details that, hey, it's going to be paid out December 22nd, not with, you know, whatever it is. So that just gives you a little bit on the weekly pay. And as well, and this is the other thing, if you can't understand what something is, because sometimes, I don't know, mine always had an other. I don't know why this one doesn't. Sometimes stuff shows up in other. But if you go over here, you know, in this line item, and you export these details, it'll give you what it is. So for instance, I'll do that because I'll be like, what is that 750, whatever it is. So what they do is, so for when you get to the level of Emerald, you know, you get to go to Maui, and then, but what they do is you book your own flights, and then they'll reimburse you up to $1,000. So when they reimburse you, it shows up here as an other line item, $1,000. And if I just forget, like that one's easy because it's a round number. But if I'm not sure what they're reimbursing me for because it's just the hotel value or something when you're in Maui or whatever, it's an odd number. If you click export over here, it'll tell you the detail. So I learned that. It took me a little bit to learn that, but so that's just a bonus here. Does anyone have, that's really the basics. Does anyone have any other questions that they want to ask me?
That was great, Cheryl. I know someone else asked me to mention about our Paylution, our pay portal. There was a question about that, you know, there's sometimes a fee that'll show up in Paylution that's charged out of your earnings. What is that? Does it always happen? Can you explain that at all?
Sure. Okay. So Paylution or Pay Portal or Plexus Wallet, whatever, is really run by a third party company. You know, that so that's where all the money goes, and then we can transfer it to a card or to our checking account or leave money in our Plexus wallet to use for incentives or to pay for a product. So there is a monthly administration fee of $2.95. And that is only charged once a month on the monthly commissions. So you'll still see your $25 for your weekly business building bonuses and all that. But when your monthly commission comes out, then you're going to see on your, so I'm looking on this one. So you're going to see that 60805 is my total monthly commissions on this particular statement. And if I subtract out 295, 60510 is what is actually going to get transferred to your pay portal or Paylution or whatever you want. We have a million names for it, but so that's the difference between the two. So it's an administrative fee monthly just for housing our money and using that. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to stop the recording here, but everyone hang on for just a sec. And thanks for those of you who are listening to this later. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me or Cheryl, and we will get them answered for you.
Absolutely.